So I was browsing the Xbox store last night. There was a big sale going on, and whenever these sales happen, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Steam, I always browse them and I filter and look for any games that are like $5. If I can find like a decent game for like $1.99, like I'll add it to my digital collection. I don't care if it's on Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo. I have all these platforms so I can get the best deals on games wherever they're at. And so I was looking on the Xbox store, and it's funny, the game that like triggered this whole like thought for a video, Rumble Rose XX on Xbox 360. If you know, you know. I don't know, something about that game back in the day, like in the glory days of Xbox and Xbox 360. I was always like, man, Xbox is the place for like the most hardcore games, and like, this is this game that I'm just like, I wasn't old enough to get the game, but I was old enough to be like, hell yeah. And so I'm just kind of like, it's like 8.99. I'm like, man, like part of me kind of wants to get it on sale just to add it to the library for the future. And it got me thinking. I'm sitting there long and hard. I'm just like, am I ever gonna buy a digital game on Xbox ever again? And I kind of don't trust it because when it comes to the Xbox store, the Nintendo eShop, the PlayStation store, Steam, heck, maybe even Epic Game Store, I think the Xbox store is the first modern digital marketplace that's gonna get shut down. You hear it all the time. If everything's an Xbox, then nothing's an Xbox. And I think one of those aspects is if nothing's an Xbox, why have an Xbox specific storefront? Look at the hardware. Just on Black Friday, Xbox lost in terms of console sales to like some children's toys, some like Nexus Playground. It's this like children's toy that's basically like a Connect. It's like $200 to $250, and you can download games such as like Fruit Ninja, and that's enough to call it a console and get put into these rankings. And that outsold Xbox. Xbox Series X, Series S, they're not selling. Microsoft's raising the price. They're like, if you're dumb enough to buy an Xbox Series X in 2026, then they ain't gonna lose money on it. And the prices of the components and everything's going up. It probably costs more to manufacture because they're not manufacturing in bulk or whatever. So they're raising the prices. And if for some reason somebody out there wants to buy it, they ain't losing money on it. You see the price of Game Pass going up. The price of Game Pass is going up not because it's more expensive to host these games on their service or anything. It's there's not enough subscribers subscribe to Game Pass, and in order for them to make enough money to keep it going, if they're not getting more subscribers, they gotta milk the current subscribers, and you see them milking the current subscribers, and that's telling you there's not enough people subscribing to Game Pass. And if hardware's not selling, then like accessories aren't selling, and that like if there's not Game Pass subscriptions, it's pretty like well known that not many Xbox people buy games. It's just like hard to believe that's like out of all things, the Xbox storefront is that making enough sales? Are people buying digital games on Xbox and building their digital libraries? And I think no. And so when you see like the next Xbox coming out, the big rumors, it's going to be a lot like, this upcoming Steam machine where it's, an Xbox under under the living room, under the TV, not Xbox, but like a PC that's like branded as an Xbox. The best way I can think about it is it's like the ROG Ally X, where that's a handheld PC, and it's really just like a laptop, a handheld PC. It's Windows, and it has like a special like Xbox like UI or whatever. And you can connect to like the Xbox store and get those Xbox Play Anywhere titles, but it's not the same as the Series X storefront. Like it's not the Series X OS. There's like special games that are the Xbox Anywhere games because it's the PC version of the game. And of course you have Steam and other storefronts like Epic Game Store and GOG. You can install your emulators. It's a Windows machine, not an Xbox. And so if you can just imagine like that, the ROG Ally X, but under the TV, more powerful in a box, but basically the same thing. It's like if if that's the future of Xbox, why would anybody not buy their digital games on Steam? Why would you if that thing hosted the Xbox store, why would you buy it on the Xbox store, not the Steam? Because Steam, you can use it on that Xbox, or you can it's future proof. You can use it on a PC, you can use it on a handheld PC, you can use it in more places because it's on Steam. And if this next Xbox is leaning heavily into Steam, Epic Games, or if it's just Windows, why would you buy it on the Xbox marketplace? And so that's where I kind of feel like the Xbox is going in the future is like they're probably looking at everything. They're not making money on hardware. Therefore, they're probably not making money on accessories. Yet they have to spend money to produce the stuff, R&D, produce the stuff, but it's not making money. They're clearly not making enough on Game Pass because they had to raise the price and milk their customers because they're not getting new customers. And then therefore you have to imagine they're not making a lot of money on the store, and to host the store and everything, that's server space, that's time, that's money. That's probably not making money either. So those four things, I feel like that they're going to try to chop that out. I'm sure they're making money on games, but they're selling those games on PlayStation, on Switch, on PC. Probably the last place you're going to buy them is on an Xbox. I mean, that's why they're putting them on PlayStation 5, because people buy those games so they can make more money. People on Xbox are just using Game Pass. I'm not saying there's no Game Pass subscribers, but it's not growing. So they got to milk those subscribers. And so I feel like Xbox now, they're making money on games. They're not making money on hardware, accessories, and all these services. And so like the future of it is they're just going to be like, all right, we're going to cut out the hardware, cut out the accessories, cut out the store and all these services, and they're just gonna make games. They bought these studios, they're just gonna throw money at the studios. You make the games, like, it's just their own little private investment engine, and they make and sell games, and then they'll take the Xbox brand and sell it to stuff like ROG Ally. And yeah, they can just slap Xbox on it, because like if you look, like, I don't know, I guess I don't know how many casuals are out there buying Xboxes right now. Clearly not, because they're not selling, and casuals aren't buying digital games on the Xbox storefront. They're on subscribing to Game Pass. But I don't know if you're at like the store. Not that like stores are really stocking Xboxes anymore, at least when it comes to Costco. But if you're looking at like, I don't know, if you're like a more casual gamer and you see the Legion Go next to like an Xbox branded device, you're probably thinking like, oh, Xbox, I know what that is. That's a gaming device. I trust the Xbox. Yeah, Xbox. Let's go with that. I haven't heard of this Legion Go thing. And so, yeah, I don't know. They're probably going to make more profit off of just selling the Xbox brand logo. I don't know if they're the ones in production of the code for like that, like UI, the Xbox experience that's on the ROG Ally X or not, but at least the branding, they're probably just going to just sell the branding to whoever feels like they want to gaslight people to help boost their sales. Like, oh, this is an Xbox certified device or whatever. And yeah, why have the store? Why host the store anymore? And so I know like there's a big frenzy when the 360 store closed. I bought a bunch of 360 games. They were going for like 99 cents or whatever. Any game that was 99 cents, I was buying it. I spent maybe $100 to $200 just buying games up. Because like when the store closed, you can still re-download those games. But at the same time, I have a big concern that's like my digital games on Xbox. I buy games. I want them to last the rest of my life. I plan on gaming a lot whenever I retire. And I have like 400 digital games on Xbox. A lot of those are from 360 games from, they did the games with gold. A lot of what PlayStation's doing now. PlayStation copied it, where you get like the free games every month. And eventually Xbox stopped doing that once like they're like, why would we give them the games when they can just put them in Game Pass? And even though the Xbox 360 store is closed, I can still re-download those games. But the question is, how long is that going to last? Are they going to, is 30 years from now, am I still going to be able to re-download those Xbox 360 games? And my big concern with that is I have an Xbox 360 and I have all my digital games downloaded and stored on an external hard drive. But the thing is, that's 2 points of failure. I don't think I can take this hard drive and plug it into a different Xbox 360. There's like some code that like keeps it connected with that specific console. And so I don't know if you've heard, but the Xbox 360 has a pretty high like failure rate. It's the only console I've ever owned that failed, and I've had 2 die on me. And so, yeah, like once I can no longer re-download those Xbox 360 games, then it's just a matter of time. Either my Xbox 360 is going to die, or the hard drive is going to die, and I lose all those digital games for the rest of my life. And I think if the modern Xbox store has the highest chance of being closed down first, I'm sure when it closes down, you're still going to be able to re-download those games for the foreseeable future. But for how long? And if they start going into that mode, the first thing that's going to happen is the 360 store is going to get extra. Like, we're not going to spend the money to host these servers. Nobody's re-downloading Xbox 360 games. Why do we have this running? Why are we paying for the servers? Why are we paying for the electricity to run the server? Like, shut it down. Let's make more money. And and then eventually that will like happen to Xbox over time. And that, that's a big concern with all the stores, is like really the ability to re-download your already purchases. Now, maybe Microsoft's a big enough company where that will never happen, but I don't know. I don't have the trust. And it's like with that with not having that trust, why would I even continue to build to my Xbox library? And if someone like me who is down to just like throw money on games and continue to build my libraries on any platform, if I'm not buying stuff on Xbox, I don't know like how many of like the casual gamers are just out there just like spending stuff on the Xbox store. It's like at some point, yeah, with Xbox's like future plans, if everything's an Xbox, nothing's an Xbox, why wouldn't you just buy your stuff on Steam? And they're releasing stuff everywhere, like on PS5. Like I'd rather buy an Xbox game on PS5. That's what I'm gonna do moving forward. And I, I like Xbox. I bought the Series X so that way I can buy and play first party Xbox games. But now they're on PlayStation, and whether I buy it physical or digital on PlayStation, like even if it's digital, I trust the PlayStation store to be there longer than I do the Xbox store. Same with Nintendo, and same with Steam. And yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. That's like with this next Xbox coming out, I feel like they're actually going to be getting out of hardware manufacturing, which means they're going to get out of accessory manufacturing. I feel like it's just a matter of time before Game Pass goes away. I mean, yeah, whoever has the ROG Ally X, like they know that their Xbox library is not fully there. Only the small amount of Xbox Anywhere games are actually able to be played on that device. So even this next Xbox that goes onto the TV, I honestly don't even think that's going to be able to play Xbox 360 games because they had to build that Xbox 360 software emulator inside the Xbox OS, and the Xbox One and the Series X have like the same OS basically. So that's why you're able to play the 360 games on Series X. I don't see them going above and beyond doing that kind of effort just to like keep people's like libraries up. Like nobody's buying Xbox games anyway. Why should they even bother making it so that way their entire Xbox One digital library, including those backwards compatible games, why should they even bother having that work on this new device? And so yeah, like I don't know, the Series X might just be my last Xbox. Like it would really need a disc drive. It really needs a disc drive and be able to play all my old games and have all my storefront, so I can just have more hardware that can last longer, like throughout my life. Just like as a backup, both for like games and just like for 4K players. I mean, pretty much now Xbox like is just a place for me to buy a physical game on cheap. Like, why do you think I own Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora? I saw it for $10 at Walmart, so I was like, sure, like why not $10 for like an Xbox Series X game? Why not? I like the movies enough, and just like maybe someday. I haven't played it, but it's like $10, and that's like my entire Xbox One and Series X collection are just like cheap $10 games I find at Walmart, and they're cheaper than like the PlayStation version. They're just on clearance, and I did the same with digital games for a while, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna buy any more digital games on Xbox. I don't see the point, and I don't trust it. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. How long do you think the Xbox store is going to be around for? Do you think it makes enough money where it's worthwhile keeping it up and running? Let me know. If you made it this far in the video, like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Thanks.